All right, so it is official. The Lane Kiffin sweepstakes are officially over, and Mr. Kiffin is going to be the next head coach for Louisiana State. He is heading to LSU. He's heading to Baton Rouge. It's been a long couple days, and one guy that I feel bad for in particular is Mr. Marty Smith, who had to camp out in the Ole Miss facility for the past 18 hours waiting to report on this thing. He even texted Lane Kiffin at one point last night, like, please, God, tell me you have an answer on where you're going. And Lane Kiffin never responded. The way that this whole situation unfolded is mind blowing to me. I didn't really think that it was going to go this way because Ole Miss was the first major program to give Lane Kiffin a chance at coaching in the big leagues, coaching at the next level. He was at FAU before. Ole Miss gives him the chance, and he succeeds. They seem to have a great partnership this entire time, and just recently, over the past couple weeks, it seems, or past couple days even, it seems to have eroded because this whole thing was a constant distraction all season. Ole Miss has had one of their best seasons in program history. And I'm so happy for Rebs fans and people in Oxford, people in Mississippi. It's great to see. And this thing's been moving on the side. And Ole Miss asked him to have a decision at the end of the Egg Bowl. He drags it out further and further and further. That causes tension between Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss's athletic administration. And it ended up getting pretty sloppy. So Lane Kiffin is going to be heading to LSU tomorrow to make the announcement. Supposedly he's on the plane right now heading to Baton Rouge, and he's going to make the official announcement becoming the next head coach tomorrow in a press conference. And so this is something that's been cooking for a while, but it's now official. The detail that really blew my mind today was when Lane Kiffin came out and said to the staffers that he wants to take with him to LSU. Either get on the plane today or there's not going to be a spot for you. I think that there's better ways to go about it than that. And the other approach that I'm not very thrilled about when it comes to Lane Kiffin is when he was trying to work it out with Ole Miss's athletic administration. This is where it got dicey right here. He wanted to coach each of their playoff games this year with his staff, with his guys. Ole Miss really wasn't down for that. And when I look at it from Ole Miss's angle, I agree. Because for those of you that aren't familiar with this rivalry, LSU and Ole Miss, it is intense. These schools hate each other. And if it's a business decision, you're going to that side, okay. We do it the right way. We respect it. We appreciate your time here, but you are now going to that side, and you're going to stay on that side. You want to go to LSU, you pack your bags, you get out, and you go to LSU. That's the decision you made. Stick with it. There is no sticking around here. You're done. Once you're a Tiger, you're a Tiger. Well, Lane Kiffin didn't like that very much, and his rebuttal to that was, okay, if you're not going to let me coach the playoff games with the team that I scouted and put together this year, then I'm just going to take the whole staff with me to LSU. So that sounds like that's what's happening right now. And there's that feud between Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, which I understand a lot. But who I feel bad for in this entire process is Ole Miss's players. I mean, these guys have been a very cohesive unit this year. They've been through trials and tribulations with each other. They've been through highs and lows. They went through that Georgia loss. They became a better team because of it. They put together one of the best seasons in Ole Miss history. And now they're going into a playoff game with a pretty much gutted staff. That he's taking staffers to LSU with him. Who even knows what players he's taking with him at this point? Who's committed enough to Lane to go to LSU with him ahead of these playoff games? I mean, there's no clarity when it comes to that anybody could just hop in the portal now and go. I mean, you have to wait till the window at the end, but there could be some guys that don't go to these playoff games with them. Like it's it's truly a really delicate situation here right now. But I feel bad for these Ole Miss players, these guys who have fought this entire way, just have a completely gutted team. This whole situation is not fair to them at all, and that's why I say that this process, the process of firing and searching for and then hiring head coaches, this should take place at the end of the season, especially if you're a playoff team like Ole Miss. Because right now, you have one thing to focus on, and that's football. That's fundamentals. That's your next opponent. That's doing what needs to be done to win football games in these weeks to come. Not worrying about who your next head coach is going to be. Well, now you've got a forced distraction on this program, on these players, on this athletic administration, and it's ridiculous. We've seen it with players leaving before playoff runs in the past, coaches leaving, having new coaches come in. The timelines have to be worked out here. It's clear. The season ends. Now, if you're a team like Auburn, right? You're 5-7. Okay, tomorrow can be like Black Monday, right? You fire your head coach, begin the search. Okay, but if you're a team like Ole Miss who's fighting for a playoff spot, you should wait until the season is done. Then you terminate your head coach, or they leave for somewhere. You begin your search then. This should not be taking place now. This should not be a distraction right now. And I baked up a comparison in my head for Lane Kiffin with this whole situation a little while ago. Reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is how Aaron Rodgers goes about his business. Drags it out as long as possible. You know what the end result is going to be. I mean, for the past 2 days, it's felt like the end result is going to be Lane Kiffin LSU, but it got dragged out, just for the attention, just to keep people on their heels, just to create a situation around yourself. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like to call coaches out a lot on this program. I respect what they do. It's a very hard job, working 100 hours a week. I have a lot of respect for head coaches in that profession. But that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous, drawing the process out that long, just trying to make the situation about you and not about Ole Miss, not about what this team has done this year. I mean, we had an Egg Bowl on Friday. You wouldn't even know it. You didn't even feel the hype around the game itself. It's supposed to be about Ole Miss and Mississippi State battling for the Magnolia State, battling for the egg. That's what this is supposed to be about, not about the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes and where he's going next. So it's very Aaron Rodgers-esque to me, just trying to bring the attention to himself. And I think that could have been handled a lot better. Now, as far as Lane Kiffin's reasoning for going to LSU, I completely agree with it. I completely see where he's coming from. I myself, I mean, I'm sure y'all saw the video a few days ago. I myself was an advocate for Lane Kiffin staying in Oxford and building something special, because he has. And Ole Miss is a program that hasn't experienced perennial success like an LSU, like an Alabama, like a Florida. They've claimed national championships in the 60s, but there's nothing as of recent for them to hang their hats on. They also have not been to an SEC championship since its inception. Lane could have taken them there for the first time. And so, there's some times in life where I believe that everything that you possibly need is right in front of you. All those resources are there. You're building something special. Take advantage of it. Stay there. Everything you need is right there at your fingertips. But I also understood the argument for LSU when it comes to their resources, when it comes to Lane Kiffin being able to build a powerhouse there, the structure that is in place when it comes to NIL, when it comes to roster construction, is superior to Ole Miss. And I understand that. Bayou Traditions, NILSU, two of the best structures in the nation when it comes to building a team, when it comes to NIL. And to have that at your fingertips as well is fantastic. And then also, you have the history there. You have the lineage. Like, I completely get it. I completely understand why Lane Kiffin would want to make that move to LSU. And with LSU, you can recruit a team the natural way. You can do it au natural, as I like to say. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss had to rely on the transfer portal a lot to build a team. That's a fact. It's been that way the past several years. So you don't have a lot of guys from Mississippi on the team. You're relying on the portal to go out to other schools, get guys from there, and build your team that way. And that model has been successful for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. It's been successful for the Reds. It's a different approach, but it's worked. Other teams have tried it. Like, you've seen Florida State do in the past. It hasn't worked. Lane Kiffin has had a knack for using the portal. It's been effective. But I understand the appeal of going somewhere like LSU that can recruit for itself. It sells itself. That logo sells itself. You're in a recruiting hotbed like the state of Louisiana that has some of the best prospects in the nation, right? You border Mississippi. You're near Alabama. You border Texas. You're near Florida. It's an absolute recruiting hotbed. And you can use that to your advantage. So I understand the appeal when it comes to being able to build a roster that way, because if I were a coach, that would be something that I would be concerned about as well. I would want to build my team the natural way. Go out, meet recruits while they're in high school, 15, 16 years old, build a relationship, get to know them, get them to commit, buy into my program, to my way of doing things, to our traditions, and have them develop within our program. Instead of getting somebody from, Troy University or South Alabama or Tulane or UTSA and having them just find success at my program just because of the resources that are there and the staff they're playing for, the program that they're playing for. I understand the appeal when it comes to doing it the all natural way. So when it comes to Lane Kiffin's thought process of going to LSU, at first I didn't completely agree with it because I thought that he had everything that he needed to succeed at Ole Miss, and it would be the first time for everything. He could be Ole Miss's GOAT. It's about the process, and Coach Saban talks about that a lot. It's all about the process of building a team, the process of preparing for games, the process of executing in games. I think that Lane Kiffin's process can be optimized at LSU. So I completely invest in and agree with his frame of thinking when it comes to why he went to LSU. But with that said, this could have been done in a much better fashion. This did not have to be this sloppy. Lane Kiffin could have finished the season out at Ole Miss and then focus on this after. And I understand that you don't want to tamper, right? I mean, you don't want to go that path. You don't want to have conversations ongoing while you're coaching a team, but that's what's happened. That's the reality of the business sometimes. That has happened in the past with coaches talking to other teams while you're on a playoff run. But as long as you can get your team to focus on what needs to be done to win at the time, if I'm Ole Miss, okay, we go on our playoff run. If he's going to leave at the end of the season, he's going to leave at the end of the season. If he's talking to LSU, okay, he wants to make the move, he makes the move. Talk internally about it as an administration and as a coaching staff. This is what we're going to do. We part ways at the end of the season. Don't let on when it comes to the players. Let them focus on what needs to be done. We need to preserve the sport of football, okay? It's a beautiful sport we have. It's a beautiful playoff we have. We're going to have a lot of great competition in these weeks to come. But distractions like this, they take away from it. And now Ole Miss is going to sit here completely gutted. So Lane Kiffin could have gone about this in a different way, communicated better, waited till the end of the season, and then made the move. But the cat had to be let out of the bag early. And he also could have stuck to coming out with the decision on Friday afternoon, like was originally said. instead of dragging it out and making it sloppy. And the exit was bad, just like it was at USC, just like it was with the Raiders. Now it's bad, just like Tennessee. You don't want that to be a part of your legacy. And I have a lot of respect for Lane Kiffin and what he's done so far, what he did at Ole Miss. I think he's going to do great things at LSU. But the exit could have been executed a lot better. You got reporters like Marty Smith sitting around the facility in Oxford for hours. You're not giving him anything. Just making people wait and wait and wait and strain that relationship with Ole Miss. It's not a good look. And I was talking to my dad about it this morning, and he's like, if I'm a parent, if I'm a father, do I want to send my child off somewhere like LSU playing for Lane Kiffin? And then he just turns around and goes somewhere else, or just bails on him, or has an exit like this. I get it. That's gonna be part of the evaluation process now when it comes to recruiting. Like I just got a comment from at Jack over here, already part of his legacy. It has been part of his legacy. And I was thinking that Lane Kiffin had a chance here to erase that, to make it look differently, to have a proper exit. But that wasn't the case. This could have been executed a lot better. Don't disagree with the decision for where college football is heading. LSU is probably a better place to be. I get that. Just the execution could have been a little bit better. Now let's talk about the future for both LSU and Ole Miss here. Before we jet here, I believe I'm with the boys right now. I'm in upstate New York right now. We got some pizza on the way, so got the games ending here in the NFL. So we're gonna pick things up a little bit. But first and foremost, how does this affect LSU? Well, Lane Kiffin's been a great recruiter, and he's proven to be great when it comes to his NIL and transfer portal strategy. And so bringing that to LSU, I think that he's going to be better at constructing a roster and getting that team to buy in than Brian Kelly. I think he's got a little more of an authentic pitch and way about him than Brian Kelly does. I think he has a better understanding of the South and the landscape of the South when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to culture building, than Brian Kelly did. I mean, Brian Kelly was just never fit when it came to that. I think that Lane Kiffin's a little bit more involved, a little bit more hands-on than Brian Kelly. And so this is absolutely an upgrade for LSU. I've been hearing a lot of LSU fans today. We're going to win the national championship with Lane, this and that. There's a ways to go. There's absolutely a ways to go because you've got Alabama and Georgia playing in Atlanta once again. I'm sorry, that's the standard. You have an emerging powerhouse in Texas A&M right now. You've got that to worry about. Texas is I know it sounds cliche. Texas is going to be back next year with Arch Manning. This is a good team returning. Tennessee's been nothing short of great with Josh Heupel. We knew this was going to be a reset year. Tennessee exceeded my expectations. So you've got a lot of competition in the SEC right here. LSU's had a hard time differentiating itself recently. Can Lane Kiffin help out with that? We'll have to see. I think he's a great recruiter. I think he's a great developer of talent. All I'm going to say to LSU fans is keep expectations realistic. It was a sloppy breakup with Brian Kelly. The way the season ended wasn't great. There's going to be a little bit of building up that has to take place here. But LSU is LSU. And I think realistically, Lane Kiffin can compete for national championship with his team in the future. Just let it happen. Don't rush it. If it doesn't happen in the first 2 years, don't bail on him. Give it time and patience to develop. I struggle with it myself with Alabama with Kalen DeBoer. And that's my one piece of advice I'll say is just be patient with it. Now, Ole Miss. Oh, one more thing, LSU, you'll be getting a lot of Lane Kiffin staffers that he's taking from Ole Miss, first and foremost, but Ole Miss. Initially, their interim head coach was going to be Joe Judge. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. The reports I'm getting right now is that Pete Golding is going to be the permanent head coach for Ole Miss. So there's going to be nothing drawn out. They've already made the decision. I ideally would like them to think about that a little bit. Would like them to reflect about that a little bit. Is he the best candidate for the job? I mean, again, I can take the Alabama angle here. He was our defensive coordinator for years. I think our defense has struggled a lot with him. They're very penalty prone. Don't think they're very prepared. They've looked good. They've looked better with Ole Miss, but I don't think that Pete Golding has done anything to secure himself as a viable head coaching option. And so, it felt like a very rushed decision. If you're Ole Miss, I would step back. I'll be honest. I saw a tweet about yesterday. I would really consider and think about Dan Mullen. I know that there's the tie to Mississippi State. I get that. You don't want to tarnish that. I get it. You don't want to mix, cross contaminate. It's a deep rivalry. I understand it, but he turned them around. He turned Florida around. I think that he could do a fantastic thing with Ole Miss here if you brought a guy like Dan Mullen in. You hear about the John Gruden stuff a lot. That would be interesting as well. Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator at Georgia. I think that would be a viable option as well. I just think that the Pete Golding thing was very rushed. And we're talking about something now where Ole Miss is going into the CFP. We don't know who's going to be playing for them. We don't know who their coaches are going to be. Looks like the pizza's here. I'm about to wrap it up. So, I'm sorry, pal.
No, my bad.
I'll be in here. I'll be in here in a minute. You gotta give me some updates on these games, huh? All right. So that's the sitch right now for Ole Miss. It's not great. I'm happy that they won 11 games. Happy that they made the CFP. Been one of their best seasons of all time, but it's always going to have that mark on it when it comes to everything that unfolded as the season came to an end. But it's finally over, folks. It's finally over. We can breathe. We know where Lane Kiffin is heading. He'll make the announcement official tomorrow. Please don't hesitate to drop a comment on this video. I want to know what y'all think about this as well. This is a huge story in college football, probably one of the biggest stories that I've broken so far on this channel. So thank you all for your support. Thank everyone who tuned in today. I really appreciate it. Now let's go eat some pizza and catch the end of these 1 o'clock NFL games. Have a great day, everyone.